All right. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, we're just about 2 weeks away from training camp officially starting, and we're just about 2 months away from the NFL season officially starting. Football is almost here, folks, so I feel now is the perfect time for me to drop my AFC Power Rankings. This is not a record prediction, but a Power Rankings. These rankings are based on last year's overall performances of these AFC teams, as well as the expectations that have been put onto these teams heading into this season. So if your team's ranked low on this list, it just means you guys won a great team last year. But it is not an indication of what your team can be this year. Same could be said for my Ravens between 2018 and 2019. We were expected to be the third best team in the AFC North. We came out of nowhere, went like 14-2, and ended up getting the #1 seed in the AFC. So who knows what's going to happen? So don't be angry if your team is ranked low in this list. It's still fair game. Anybody can win the AFC, though we really know who the powerhouses are right now. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. At number 1, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think anybody's surprised to see them at the top of this list. You know, they've been dominating the AFC over the last couple of years. 2 straight Super Bowl appearances for this team, and they just continue to get better. They've got the best quarterback in football in Patrick Mahomes, and they continue to be great. One thing that did harm them last year was their offensive line, and it came back to bite them in the Super Bowl. That offensive line was terrible there, and many Chiefs fans believe that had that offensive line been able to hold up and be at least solid, they could have kept that game competitive, if not potentially beating the Chiefs in that Super Bowl. But it didn't happen, so they got crushed. That was an area they needed to desperately fix. Protecting Patrick Mahomes is the #1 thing they needed to focus on, and they made sure they did that. They addressed that both in the draft and through free agency. They traded for a Pro Bowl tackle in Orlando Brown Jr., which, by the way, Ravens, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why would you help your enemy? Why did you do that? You know what? I'm not, you know, we got picks from that, but like, I'm still a little bit angry about that. You gave them a... With that being said, the Chiefs continue to be great. They're going to continue to be dominant. And until somebody can beat this team, they deserve the #1 spot. Until they're beaten, no one else is better than them. At number 2, we've got the Buffalo Bills. Now, this was a very close ranking between the second best team and the third best team. But I'm going to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills because they did win that divisional matchup and advance to the AFC Championship game. So I got to give them their credit. They've got one of the best young quarterbacks in the league in Josh Allen, who can only continue to improve, which is going to terrify defenses. They've got one of the best receivers in the game in Stephon Diggs, and they've got a lot of useful weapons on that offense as well as a decent running game. And they have one of the best secondaries in the league and one of the great defenses in this league. The only issue this team had last year was their pass rush, and that came to harm them in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. Their main issue, they could not get to Mahomes. They couldn't stop him, they couldn't pressure him, they couldn't get him on the floor, they couldn't tackle him, they couldn't sack him. If you can't do any of that, you're not going to stop Mahomes. And that ultimately cost them that game in the championship game. They could not get to Mahomes. So what do they do in the offseason? Well, they focus on beefing up their defensive line and making sure that front seven can actually get to the quarterback. And let me just say, the picks they've made is very terrifying. So this defensive line and this front seven is going to be terrifying offenses all throughout the AFC this upcoming season. It's going to be tough to beat them. They got so much better, and it's just going to be difficult. So I got to give them the #2 spot right now, but I do not believe number 3 is that far behind. In fact, I think they're just equal, especially with the moves they've made. So let's move on to number 3. At number 3, we've got my Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to put them at number 3 because the Bills did beat us in the division round. I will give them the edge in that, but I feel that both these teams are just as great, especially with the moves they made these offseason. So either one of these guys can be in the Super Bowl. Who knows? But I'm putting the Ravens at 3 for now. Let me tell you something about the Ravens. You see this beautiful logo? Do not underestimate this team. Over the last 2 years, they could have easily been in the AFC Championship game. However, in 2019, they choked and disappointed. Last year, they weren't able to get it done on offense. It was a tough game. Both teams struggled, but they just weren't able to get the job done. However, the main reason they couldn't get it done was because of the passing game. They've got the best running game in the league. They've got one of the best, if not the best, secondaries in the league. And overall, they got one of the best defenses in the league. This team is a championship contender. They have the pieces. They just have to put it together. They've got one of the best young quarterbacks in Lamar Action Jackson. They just have to put it together. One thing that's just missing is the passing game. And that is what cost us in that divisional game. Well, the Ravens have done a lot, man. First of all, they drafted 2 new receivers in Bateman and Wallace. They picked up Sammy Watkins, who could be a useful weapon as long as he stays healthy. But most importantly, they brought in Keith Williams and T. Martin to fix up this pass game and help improve our receivers' route running and get them more prepared to actually handle and go up against defenders. They've done a lot to improve this pass game. If this pass game can take off, the Ravens can easily be in the Super Bowl. Do not doubt that. But right now, you gotta put them at number 3 because the Chiefs have just been better than them, flat out. They have not been able to beat Mahomes and the Chiefs, so you cannot rank them above them. And Buffalo, they're just equal, but Buffalo won in the divisional round, so I'm gonna give them the credit. But those 2 teams, if they meet up again, it can go either way. So we're gonna put the Ravens at number 3, and we're gonna move on to number 4. So for this next one, I have these 2 teams tied for 4th place because I feel like these are 2 teams that are filled with offensive talent. They've got really good quarterbacks and they've got great pieces on defense. The only issue they have is their secondary. Now, both these teams definitely made moves to fix up their secondary, and the pieces they draft to help that part out should be able to fix the issue. However, we're not 100% sure these guys can work out. If those pieces in the secondary can work out, these 2 teams can also be in the Super Bowl. Do not doubt it. They are very talented teams, very powerful teams. Give them their credit. So tied for 4th place, we've got the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns. These are 2 talented units. I can see either one of these guys making the Super Bowl. They are actual contenders, and they are dangerous threats in the AFC. When you look at the Titans, they picked up Julio Jones, for God's sakes. They traded for this man. You got Julio Jones, you got A.J. Brown, you got Derrick Henry running the ball. That is a frightening duo. If Tannehill can continue to play the way he's been playing since he's been the starter, this team could make it to the Super Bowl. Do not doubt it, but it is going to come down to their secondary. If these young guys and the pieces they've traded for and drafted, if they can hold up in that secondary, they should be able to potentially make a Super Bowl run. Who knows? As for Cleveland, we gotta say it, man. They got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that dynamic 2-headed monster running back duo. They've got Jarvis Landry and Odell coming back. These guys, you know what they bring to the table as receivers. And all Baker really has to do is play just as great, if hopefully not better than what he did last season, and this team will be in the playoffs and they can compete. They've also got one of the best front sevens in the league, because you know that monster right there, Myles Garrett. You don't want to see him, man. You don't want to see him. However, their secondary is an issue just like the Titans, and if that part has been fixed and these guys can step up and the picks that they've gotten for that secondary can show up and just produce and make an impact, Cleveland could surprise a lot of people and be in the Super Bowl. I look at these 2 teams as 2 dangerous threats in the AFC. Do not underestimate them. I know a lot of people want to talk about Baker and try to trash him because of how he was in 2019. And I know a lot of people look at Ryan Tannehill and say, well, it's easy to just hand the ball to Derrick Henry. But do not underestimate these teams as a whole. This is still a team game. And these 2 teams are talented and powerful. So I'm going to put the Titans and the Browns at number 4 together. Moving on to number 6, because this method is very weird. At number 6, I have the Indianapolis Colts. I really like this Colts team. I personally feel that the Colts as a team is probably the most complete team in the AFC. In terms of the running game, in terms of the receivers they've got, in terms of just structure on offense, defensively, that front seven, those linebacking core in the secondary, I feel as a unit, the Colts are the most complete team in the AFC. This is a Super Bowl contending team. And I'm telling you right now, this team can really surprise people, but it all comes down to one person, Carson Wentz. This Colts team is going to go as far as they can with Carson Wentz. It's going as far as Carson Wentz can take them, man, because when they had Phillip Rivers last year, they made it to the playoffs and almost upsetted the Buffalo Bills. They almost beat the Bills with an old Phillip Rivers. This team is complete. This team is tough. They've got ballers, and I'm telling you right now, if Carson Wentz can play similar to how he played in 2017, this Colts team will be a legitimate threat and a serious Super Bowl contender. That's why I have them so high on my list. Number 6, they're just such a complete team. It all comes down to the quarterback. Expectations are high. The Colts have given everything they've needed to give to Carson Wentz. Can he deliver? That is the question. But I'm going to put the Colts at number 6. At number 7, I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, Yinza fans, I've got y'all at 7. Now, don't get me wrong. This defense is great. Your defense is fantastic. It's been carrying this unit over the last couple of years. In fact, I'll say it right now, as a Ravens fan, out of all the defenses Lamar Jackson has faced, your defense has given him the most trouble. In the 2 matchups he's gone up against you guys, he's put up 3+ turnovers in each of those games. You cannot have that. You guys have done a fantastic job just defending him and forcing him and putting the pressure on him and just forcing him to make mistakes. So kudos to you guys. That defense is great. And obviously, you've been carrying this unit for the last 2 years, so we know what you can do defensively. However, the issue comes in offensively. You don't have a run game. And yeah, you picked up Najee Harris, but where's your offensive line? How are you going to protect Ben Roethlisberger and be able to run the ball without an offensive line? That's my main issue right there. Not to mention, I feel that Ben, at this point in his career, he cannot carry or take a team to a Super Bowl. He has to be carried himself, which I think is very possible with this Steelers defense. That's why I have them at number 7. I feel that this defense can be the best in the league, or at least be top 3. They could take the Steelers to the Super Bowl. They could carry Ben to a Super Bowl. All Ben has to do is just be a solid quarterback and not turn the ball over so much, which I believe he can do. But again, there's still concerns regarding the offensive line. You still got solid receivers, though this season they got to catch the football. There's no excuse. They got to catch the football, man. All of y'all got to catch the football. That's as simple as that. But if they do their jobs as receivers and the defense is top 3, you guys can be in the Super Bowl. They could very easily win the AFC North. I can see that happening. I can see the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns easily taking the AFC North this year. But in terms of getting into the postseason and facing off against a team like the Bills or the Chiefs, I just don't see how the Steelers come out on top unless their defense just completely takes over. So that's why I got them at 7. They're a potential Super Bowl contending team, but again, that offense concerns me, and I just don't see how they'll have the manpower to take down either the Bills or the Chiefs. So yeah, I'm going to put the Steelers at number 7. Next up, we've got the Miami Dolphins at number 8. I really like this Dolphins team, man. I really like this Dolphins team. I have high hopes and high expectations for this Dolphins team. In fact, they're my dark horse in the AFC. They're my dark horse team to get to the Super Bowl. I love the moves they've been making over the last couple years, especially last year, man. The way they've rebuilt this squad has been fantastic. They're gonna be a playoff team this year. They're gonna steal a playoff spot from somebody. This Dolphins team, look out. And I know a lot of people have questions for Tua and they don't believe in him, even though personally for me, I have 100% faith and confidence in Tua. Tua's my guy. That's the one. That is the one quarterback I wanted on my team back in 2017. So I have faith in him. Not to mention, I'm a Miami Heat fan, so Miami making it to the Super Bowl would not piss me off. I would love that. So yeah, I got Miami, just the moves they've made over the last year to rebuild this team. Last year in general, how that defense just transformed and became such a ferocious, dangerous team. That secondary is legit. I'm just loving everything I'm seeing from the Dolphins. They've been making smart decision after smart decision, smart move after smart move, smart pick after smart pick. They have completely rebuilt this team, and if Tua can be the great quarterback I know he can be, this team can surprise a lot of people in the AFC and come out on top and make it to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to put the Dolphins at number 8. At number 9, we've got the New England Patriots. Oh boy, no matter how hard I tried to get them off the top 10 list, I couldn't take them off. Bill Belichick made far too many moves this free agency for me not to talk about this team. So yeah, the Patriots exactly weren't anything special last year, especially on offense. You know, that's the only offense I'm willing to say was worse than ours last year because they were just atrocious in the passing game. But Bill Belichick, he put all his chips on the table and said, I'm getting every possible free agent I can to New England. I'm going to get Cam some help. And he did that. So the Patriots are looking to be dangerous coming into this 2021 NFL season. And with Cam as a quarterback, with Bill Belichick as a coach, do not doubt this team. You know, he's still the head coach here. As long as Bill Belichick's still with the Patriots, he's still in New England, I'm going to give them a chance. Now, of course, without Brady, you can't put them in the top 5. But you can still put them as a playoff team that could shock some people. And then again, you know, with the Patriots, would it really be surprising to see them get back to the Super Bowl with Bill Belichick there? You know, considering Brady just won a Super Bowl, it'd be funny if Belichick leads this Patriots team to a Super Bowl. Then again, I don't want that. I'm a Ravens fan. I want the Ravens to be in the Super Bowl. But yeah, do not doubt this Patriots team. Do not doubt Bill Belichick. And be on the lookout for them this year. They could potentially steal the division away from the Bills, but you know, I think the Bills got that, but we're not here to talk about division rankings or predictions. But yeah, I'm going to put the New England Patriots at number 9, a dangerous team that could come back and reign supreme in the AFC. All right, at number 10, we've got the LA Chargers. This is an interesting team to me. They got a great young quarterback in Justin Herbert, who had arguably one of the best, if not the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. And they've got talent on this team, specifically offensively. I mean, my God, we should have taken... I'm not talking about our failures to pick up top receivers. But yeah, they got talent on this team, offensively and defensively. And they've been in a lot of games and been really competitive. However, this team has failed to close games time and time again. It feels like a breakthrough needs to happen, and I feel like this upcoming season, that can happen. They're ranked low just because of how they, ended up finishing off the season, and there's not a lot of expectations with them in the division with the Chiefs. But I still feel like this is a team that could break out this year. With Herbert as your quarterback, they're bound to at least improve record-wise. So I like what I'm seeing from the Chargers. I feel like they could be a team that could rise up and potentially be a playoff team and could be a dangerous step to potentially make the Super Bowl. However, I'm not going to give them that title yet. They've got a little ways to go. But they could very well be a playoff team. So I'm going to put them at number 10, but they're on the rise as long as Herbert continues to improve and this team finds ways to close games. Good God, you got to close games, guys. You got to close games. How many tough losses did they suffer last year? Close the game, Chargers. Close the game. Find a kicker. Please, find a kicker. That's all you need to do. You don't need to fix anything else. Find yourself a kicker that knows how to kick the football, because you have got to stop missing field goals, man. That's cost you too much. Find a kicker. Overall, Chargers at number 10, but good God, man, don't blow these games this season. Don't choke away these games. Don't have heartbreaking losses. Your fan base can't take it. And now we've reached the bottom of the AFC. These are teams that do not have a lot of expectations that are put on them. They're not really seen as Super Bowl contenders, but they could potentially be playoff contenders. And I feel like there are a lot of hopes in these franchises, and some of them could be able to deliver this season. Who knows how it will go. But to start this off, at number 11, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this Raiders squad has a lot of talent, man. I understand a lot of people look at the Raiders and say they're not going to be able to do much, especially in a division where they have to deal with the Chiefs, obviously. So it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. And the AFC is filled with powerhouses. But the Raiders do have talent, especially offensively, man. They still got Henry Ruggs. They've still got Darren Waller. And you know Josh Jacobs is going to run that football. So they've got guys there. Defensively, that isn't exactly where it needs to be. They're still trying to fix defense. But overall, as a team, they're still a solid football team. Derek Carr is still a solid quarterback, and I feel like they can compete. However, they got to fix up their defense, and I don't know. It comes down to how you really feel about Derek Carr. Is he the guy for you? I feel like he's the guy for the Raiders, but even I've seen some Raiders fans starting to have questions about that. I mostly just look at the defense and say that's where the issue comes in for the Raiders. If they could fix the defense up to where it needs to be, they could make some noise in the AFC. But right now, you're going to have to put them at number 11. There's not a lot of expectations for them. And for me personally, John Gruden-led group, I don't have a lot of faith in anyway. I told you guys John Gruden was not going to take you guys to the playoffs. I said within 5 years, you're not going to the playoffs with John Gruden. And so far, that's pretty much been the case. So I'm not surprised to see the Raiders in this situation. Though you did come close last year, I'll give you that. But yeah, I just look at the Raiders. They're a talented team. They could definitely make some noise. They've got great pieces there. It's going to be tough in a powerhouse AFC like this with so many great units. But who knows what will happen this season? We'll see what happens. I'm going to put the Raiders at number 11. Ooh. At number 12, we've got the Denver Broncos. This team is the complete X factor in the AFC. They're ranked 12th right now because of one thing and one thing only, the quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is solid and they can go with him, but it's not going to lead you to a Super Bowl. Drew Lock, well, there's still questions about him. However, you're not 100% sure that can lead you to a Super Bowl. Other than that, this team is solid, man. They've got pieces in Jerry Jeudy. They've got Fant. They've got Phillip Lindsay running the football. They've got pieces on that offense. They are set to be a dangerous team. And defensively, with Von Miller coming back, that unit, this Broncos team is set to be a very great unit. The only issue issue with the Broncos is the quarterback position. That has been an issue for the last couple of years. They've been still trying to figure that out. However, the reason I say this is the X factor is because Aaron Rodgers has been linked and connected to Denver. If somehow Denver pulls off a trade to get Aaron Rodgers, at this point, they're at number 12. You can put them in the top 5. At this point, you can put them in the top 5, arguably in the top 3. I'm serious. That's how much of a jump it is. The Broncos get Aaron Rodgers. They're a Super Bowl contending team. Right now, they're a very talented team. They're a solid team. They're a complete team. They've got all their spots covered except the quarterback position. The way they are now, they can compete for a playoff spot. But with Aaron Rodgers, they are a legitimate threat in the AFC and could potentially make the Super Bowl. That's the difference. That's why I put them at the X factor. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded, and if Green Bay does trade him, we don't even know if it's going to go to the Broncos. I'm just saying the Broncos have been linked to him. If Aaron Rodgers ends up in Denver, put him as a top 5 team easily. But, we'll see. I'm going to put him at 12 right now. There's not a lot of expectations on this team, and, there's not a lot of expectations for Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. So they're ranked low for a reason. But if they get Aaron Rodgers, look out, AFC. That's a Super Bowl contending team right there. But yeah, we're going to put the Denver Broncos at 12. At number 13, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. There's not a lot of expectations for the Cincinnati Bengals. There's not a lot of hope for the Cincinnati Bengals, especially in the division where you have to deal with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland. So a lot of people aren't looking for the Bengals to do a lot of things this season. However, they do have the opportunity to make some noise. That defense, they did add some pieces there, and they're hopeful that the defense will perform better down the stretch. But overall, they're excited to see what they can get from this offense because they're hopeful. Again, I keep using hopeful with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're hopeful that Joe Burrow will be able to stay healthy. And they know with a year on his belt now and him getting extra weapons, this team should look a lot better. Though, again, I just don't have a lot of confidence. I look at the offensive line and I'm like, who's going to protect Burrow? The reason you guys were bad last year down the stretch is because you lost him halfway through the season. Who is going to protect Joe Burrow? I need the answer for that. I just don't have a lot of hope for this Cincinnati team, especially in the division, man. If you're going up against ferocious defenses, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh all have ferocious defenses. That front seven is terrifying, and they can get to Burrow. We saw that last year. They can get to Burrow. So I don't like it, man. I don't like it. If I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, I don't like how the offensive line's looking. I like that we've got extra weapons, especially getting Jamar Chase. I like that the defense has looked more improved, at least a little bit more improved from last year, but I just don't like that Burrow's not going to have the protection he needs. And yeah, we know they did kind of address the offensive line a little late in the draft, but they could have done better, and I don't trust it, man. It all comes down to the health of Joe Burrow. If he can stay healthy, they got a chance in that division, and they could potentially make the playoffs, but who knows? Because it looks like, honestly, I'm looking at Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland. It looks like they're prepared to make the playoffs again. And I don't think every team in the AFC North is making the playoffs. So I just don't have a lot of high hopes for Cincinnati. That's why I have them at 13. We'll see what happens, though. Best of luck to you guys this season, but I'm going to put Cincinnati at number 13. At number 14, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this is another team that is not expected to be a contending team right now. And it's very debatable as to whether or not they can become a playoff team. But they can make some noise this year, and we are hopeful that we'll get to see a lot from Trevor Lawrence. He is going to be the main guy for Jacksonville, and he's going to be the main talking point there. We're very interested to see what Lawrence can do with the Jags. You know, this is a solid team. They do got pieces. They got a solid defense. And, you know, he is going to have a weapon over there with DJ still being there. So, like, they've got pieces. They've got a nice look for the most part. It's just, this is not a contending team right now. And it's debatable as to whether or not they're a playoff team. However, I do like what Jacksonville's doing right now. They're trending in the right direction. They've been making some solid moves. I like the way the team's looking right now. It's just right at this moment, they're not a contending team, but they're on the rise. And it all comes down to what Lawrence is going to look like in his rookie season. If anything, Jacksonville this season, just look to see what Lawrence is going to look like as a starter. If you can manage to get 6 or 7 wins or even 8 wins this season, that is a W. That means you are trending in the right way. I just look at it as a season where fans are just hopeful that Lawrence is going to work out and they'll take this team to new heights potentially. But this year is just all about Lawrence's rookie year, how well the team is and if they continue to trend upward. So I'm going to put them right here at number 14. There's not a lot of hype for this team or expectations, but man, we're just looking forward to seeing Trevor Lawrence out on the field playing football. So yep, got the Jags at number 14. All right, at number 15, we have the New York Jets. There's not any expectation on the Jets. So this is kind of a season where it's wide open for them to really look at and see if Zach Wilson can be the guy for them in the future. I'm just looking at this and seeing how his rookie season is going to go. You know, Corey Davis is there now, so he does have a good, solid weapon. But other than that, you just look all around on the team. There's some talent there, but offensively and defensively, they're just not a great unit. And it just comes down to them rebuilding right now and refixing this team and retooling this team and just hoping that Wilson is the guy. So I don't think any Jets fans are sitting there thinking they're going to make the playoffs. They're more so just looking towards the future. This is a season where you get to see if Wilson really is that guy for you. It's rookie season. Let's see if he has some spark. Bring something to the table. Something that you can cling on to. The leadership skills. Something. Right now, he is showing the leadership skills because he is working with his receivers and doing his thing. So I'm excited to see what he can do for the Jets. I'm hopeful that the Jets can finally get a quarterback that can take their team to relevancy and prominence. Hopefully, this is the guy, but we'll have to see. So yeah, they're going to be at number 15. There's no expectations for them to make the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, none of that. They're just looking forward to watching Wilson playing and hoping that he will show the skills that show he can be the guy for them. And hopefully that means the Jets are trending in the right direction. So yeah, I got the Jets at number 15. And last but not least, oh boy, the Houston Texans. Let's be honest here. Is there any hope if you're a Texans fan? Are there any Texans fans out there that are actually excited to see this season? They're ranked at the very bottom of this list. Lord knows what they're going to be doing this season. You know, there's no hope, no expectation. Deshaun Watson's not going to play this year most likely. So who knows who's going to be the quarterback? I just look at the situation for Houston. Defense is bad. Offense, you got some weapons, but it's not great. Run game is solid, but overall, they're just not a great unit. Deshaun Watson put up an amazing season last year, only for them to go 4-12. And they haven't improved that much since then. So, well, they got, David Culley, who was leading our pass game, which was the worst in the league. So, honestly, there's just no hope for Texans fans. This is just a season where you're just going to be watching football. You don't have any hopes. Maybe your team can win a couple games. Maybe you can see some exciting football. But if you're a Texans fan, there's no hope. There's no hope. There's no hope. You know the season's over for you guys. It don't even matter. You're not going to no Super Bowl. If you make the playoffs, that is a miracle. If you make the play, I'm telling you right now, if the Texans somehow make the playoffs, that will be a miracle. And Texans fans will embrace it. They don't care if they go one and done. If they make the playoffs somehow, that is a miracle. At this point, they're just ready to see some football. They know their team's not competing. Nothing's coming from it. They just want to see some football. I have so much faith in all the other 15 teams making the playoffs before I look at the Texans and having them make the playoffs. So it's bad over there in Houston. It's bad. It's really bad over there in Houston. It's tough to see those fans have to go through it, but there's no hope, there's no expectations, there's no belief that the Texans can do anything next year. Not even make noise. So, yeah, if you're a Texans fan, this season is going to be rough for you. And those are my AFC Power Rankings for this upcoming NFL season. We got the Chiefs at the top and the Texans at the bottom. We got a lot of teams competing, some Super Bowl contending teams, some playoff contending teams. It's going to be interesting. We got some teams looking to make some noise, and we're going to have some great matchups. So hopefully it will be an amazing season. I cannot wait for this to kick off. We're just 2 months away from the NFL season being here, 2 weeks away from training camp being here. Football is really coming back. I'm excited to see it. You're excited to see it. I can't wait for all this to go down. It should be fantastic, man, but we'll see what happens. We got a historical 17-game season coming up, and I just cannot wait to see all these matchups and these great games that are going to come up. Hopefully, this will end with the Ravens in the Super Bowl and winning a championship game. Please, Ravens, win the Super Bowl this year. At least make the AFC Championship game, man. Come on. We cannot keep going down the division round. Break through, Baltimore. But yeah, we'll see what happens this upcoming season. It should be great. With that being said, that is all I got. If you rock with this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. Do your thing. Turn on notifications if this is your thing so you can keep up with my videos. And that's all I got, man. I'm out of here. Peace.